The best anglers see the world differently. Introducing HDS Pro. Prepare for a new fishing perspective. Watch fish reacting to your lure live with best-in-class resolution. And get a more complete picture than other sonars, with the option to combine two systems for more views on a single display. Get game-changing clarity in the megahertz range with the new Active Imaging HD sonar, covering 3 different underwater views, bringing fish reveal to side scan for the first time, and unveiling underwater structure with more precision and clarity than ever before. Find the richest fishing spots with CMAP's charts featuring high-resolution bathymetry, underwater contours, and overlays for live sonar and Ghost 360. Take full control of your boat, bow to stern, with the ultimate fishing system. HDS Pro. Because the more you see, the more you catch.
You're going to notice a difference straight away.
They are super clear, super crisp.
It's the highest quality lens that I've ever used.
They are all around great optics for being on the water and getting the job done.
They're perfect for me competing at the very highest level.
My eyes are essential to doing my job.
I have to have the best eyewear.
Top of the line performance in these glasses.
But they're priced for absolutely everyone. The everyday angler can afford them.
When you can get a high quality pair of sunglasses like these Hobies for $110, it's priceless.
They feel like the highest end, most expensive glasses you can buy.
As a touring professional pro, if I can depend on them, I know the weekend angler can as well. Hobie Eyewear, built for the pros.
Price for everyone.
Well, here we go. Welcome to Sunday night, December the 3rd, and we've got some fairly exciting news. And I tell you what, it's been a long time coming. For those who are anglers who have attended Hobie Fishing Worlds, you know how hard these events are to qualify for, to get in, let alone win. And obviously, the last few years have been very difficult trying to run international events. Hobie Fishing Worlds 9, I think we canceled 3 or 4 times. And even in Amal, the last time we had this, we still had problems with people having flights internationally with some COVID restrictions. And some of the teams, Asian teams and teams from China, were not able to attend because of just massive amounts of red tape and also quarantines coming to and from their countries. I remember one of the U.S. anglers who we were able to find pathways to get to Sweden, but you still had to have COVID shots when they were, kind of outlawed at that stage. And I remember, I think it was Matt Randy. He was at Delta Airlines, and he said, "Just give me the shot. I want to go to the world." So we've had a lot of battles. Now, this one is pretty cool. Now, this is Hobie Fishing Worlds 10 and 11 combined. And I'd like to take a little bit of time and explain what that really means. So during the COVID period, which seems like it lasted forever, there were some regions that were not able to hold qualifying events. In North America, through the Hobie Bass Open Series, we were, to the drive-through registrations and separation and prize givings. But places like Australia nearly took 2 years to run a single season just because you were not allowed to kayak, basically, and it made it very difficult. So we had some countries like North America, the Bass Open Series, who had a full team of North America between, say, Canada and the United States. And then other countries had no qualifying series at all. or very, very limited. So we're going to combine these together to kind of play catch up and get us a little bit closer back on track, which is pretty good. The other exciting thing is just the commitment that Hobie has to our fishing series. And this is worldwide. We've got a very, very strong series in Australia. I think we're into the 15 seasons now down in Australia with Chris, Brad, and the boys down there with the series that started off, coming back probably 2009, I believe it is, thereabouts. Some of it through the ABT. The European series, Hobie Fishing Euros in all the different regions, and the Bass Open series next year, going into, I think it's 6th season. So there's a lot of fishing going on. We've got a lot of new countries that are also into the series. Singapore just had an event last year, I think 130 different anglers. So the fishing is good, but the biggest thing is our commitment to running these series on an international level. And I was very pleased to get the call up after one of the Bass Open series we had this year. We were up in New York in the Finger Lakes and got a call to go to the managing partner's head office and part of some of Hobie's admin. And they were excited about, learning more about the fishing series. And we had the commitment to run at least 3 Hobie Fishing Worlds kind of back to back, which just shows the commitment that Hobie has. One is to the sport of kayak fishing, and 2, the anglers who are out there, not only in other brands of kayaks, but also want to hold the Hobie Fishing Worlds at a very, very high level. It's very exciting to see Hobie and the dealer network behind that. So we're playing catch up, and a lot of these anglers have waited a long time to catch up for these events. One of the things that we're going to try to do tonight is walk through a couple of details of where the locations are. Obviously, later on, the website will have a landing page up on it with some details. And then official invites will go out to those anglers who have qualified. And there'll be a period of acceptance. And then after that, we look at going through the different Angler of the Years and some VIPs and in different countries out there. So with that, I want to bring in 2 very, very important guests that really are the backbone of making this event happen. Most of the anglers who've been to these Hobie Fishing Worlds in the past have definitely run into these 2 particular anglers. And without further ado, I'm going to bring in Tim Percy and Richard Offner. Hello, boys. How are you, sir?
Good day. Good day, sir.
Good day.
Let's
Good day.
You there, Richard, still?
Yeah, I'm here.
Just making sure that was lemonade you're drinking. This is
Apple juice.
apple juice.
Yeah.
All right, that sounds good.
Yeah.
All right, well, the shirts kind of give it away a little bit here.
So a little bit of a clue. A little bit of a clue. And now tell us a little bit about your histories in Hobie Fishing World. We'll start with Tim. How long have you been in? Were you at the first event as well? No, I wasn't. No, I was at Hobie Fishing Worlds 4 was my first event, I believe it was in Changshu, China. 4 or 5. That was 5, wasn't it? 5. Yep, that was my first event. I was fortunate enough to win the Border City Classic, which was put on by Richard Offner back in those days, and that was the qualifier back then. And that was my first of 4 Hobie Fishing Worlds, and it's been a goal of mine to attend every Hobie Fishing Worlds that I possibly can after that event.
Sounds good. I remember, obviously, Hobie Fishing Worlds, all 9. You and Jackie Boy had some fun times on the water. And
Yes.
It was just a really fun time. Now, Richard, tell us your history on Hobie Fishing Worlds.
Well, my first one was in Australia in 2013. I was invited a month before the event. They didn't have any Canadians going, so I guess I was through my acquaintance with another Hobie team member. I was able to go. And if you remember in Marlow, the one day where we had the really big windstorm, I was power pulled down with Keaton off next to me, and I I suggested using the Boulder City Classic, an event that I had been running for a few years, as a qualifier. And from then on, that's where we qualified Canadian anglers. And Tim was our first one or second one? Second one, yes.
Yeah. Kyle Moxon was the first.
Kyle Moxon was the first, and Tim, yeah.
Yeah. Well, what are you talking about, big wind? I think it was a light kind of sea breeze came in on that last day, so it wasn't too bad. It's a funny story because the boys from Power Pole there, and I tell you what, they've been with us since day one. As a matter of fact, they launched the Power Pole during that event there, and they had like eyes like deer, and they had like 40 knots of wind. The poles were bent in half, but the boats did well, and they actually held good. And I tell you what, that particular fishery, if you didn't have a Power Pole, you weren't competitive. So it was pretty good. So now, what did you guys think about the last event in the mall?
It was awesome. It was like, for anybody that knows what Northern Ontario is like, I thought it was in Northern Ontario. Mm-hmm. It's beautiful.
Was that your first visit to a mall?
Yes, I've been to Sweden and to Stockholm, but I was pleasantly surprised of a mall. What a difference! Beautiful area, small town. It was quite an experience.
I tell you what, every one of these events that we do, we get better and better at what we're doing. It's like any sport, you come a long way. But I tell you what, the facilities at a mall, the town in particular, and Andy at Sports Fishing Dasland, that whole group there, really what makes it. And the restaurant on the water, and we're staying in a very close spot, a hotel. I would have to rate that as one of the better worlds that we've done. I mean, the first world is fairly unique, as we combine that with part of the Australian kayak fishing series that got us going. But I tell you what, a mall in the competition level was at its highest. As anglers, everyone has improved their game. Our kayaks have improved, the electronics, the tackle, and the know-how to fish. So it's quite amazing. I really, really enjoyed it. The neat thing, too, is the entrance to the opening of a mall, where you had the two ladies, the daughter. We saw them back when she was just really, probably 10 or 12 years old. And now, it was amazing. So it was a very, very good event. So obviously with the Team Canada jerseys on, everyone's kind of worked out what it is. It is going to be in Tecumseh, and that is all part of Essex County. And where some of Hobie's headquarters are, where our base is still Oceanside, California. We have a base, obviously, in Australia, Toulon, France, and the Netherlands. But we also have part of what we do up in Windsor. So tell us about Windsor and Tecumseh as a town for people that are traveling there.
You want me to go, Rich, or you want to go?
All right. So Windsor, Ontario is south of Detroit, Michigan, and which is everyone, maybe down south, when we explain that to people, they wonder, how can you be in Canada south of Detroit, Michigan? Well, if you look on a map, Essex County is a peninsula surrounded by Lake St. Clair, Detroit River, and Lake Erie. It's one of the best kept secrets, probably North America, for fishing. We have all kinds of species, but it's a flat area. You won't see any mountains or hills, and but it's a great fishing location.
Yeah. So. Yeah, we're just, as Rich says, we're just surrounded by water where we are. We're kind of a peninsula, I guess you could say. And we're very, very fortunate. I was born and raised in the Windsor, Essex County area. As a young kid, I'd be down at the river fishing. It was just a great location to be at and to hang out. I could be down there the full summer, just fishing from shore, hanging out. Used to have some trained docks down there where everybody would hang out, and some people would be swimming off of those, and some other guys would just be fishing. And now I'm fortunate. I live literally 30 seconds away from Lake St. Clair, which to me is probably the premier smallmouth bass and muskie fishery in the world.
We haven't mentioned that. We're going to leave that in before, but we're obviously going to Lake St. Clair. Now, Lake St. Clair, everyone knows it. It was BASS is one of the top 10 lakes. It was number 7. I've been there with you guys out in the boat and have a look around. For the internationals who are watching here and not familiar what it is, it's kind of crazy that Windsor and Tecumseh is actually in the United States is lower than Detroit, but flying in, there's going to be a couple of options there that for all the international travels. Most of the time, you're going to be coming into Detroit. I've been there 2 or 3 times, and it's about an hour drive from the airport to the town of Tecumseh, where the event headquarters is going to be. And for those who want to do, say, Toronto, to go in and see, say, Niagara Falls, if you haven't seen that, it's, you're traveling across the world, that's definitely one to pop in and have a look at. So it's easy drive by the car, and we'll have a lot more information on that one. Now, the other thing about this particular lake is, especially in the waters that we're in, now the Lake Sinclair obviously has different sides, and there's an international border and a very, very large channel we're working with. But the neat thing about what we're sitting on the Canada side, so to speak, is the bass season doesn't open until the 22nd of June. Which means that really there's no pressure on the system. We'll have a little bit of pressure the week prior. John Dean and his guys from the
Ontario Kayak Bass Trail.
Bass Trail, they're going to have an event, a small event. They probably get 100 or so there. But realistically, we're going into a fishery that hasn't seen a lure since all winter long where the fish are at, which is it's going to be amazing. We have international waters that we are going to stay clear from, and like we've had in them all, we'll have a map inside of here. The hard part was trying to fit the dates in for this particular event. It's very crowded. One is you have the bass season open restriction in the waters in the Canada side, which is there. We have Canada Day we're playing with. We have the Ford Motor Company fireworks. We have the American 4th of July. There's just a whole bunch of things we're trying to do. So the official dates of the World Championships are June 25th through July 1st, and that's going to be in Lake Sinclair. Let's talk fishing. Tim, start us off about the lake and what people are expected, and the difference between a winter or spring bite versus the summer, and what other fishing species are out there.
So the main reason why we picked the dates that we picked is traditionally the bite is incredible. That first from opening day. So our bass season in this region doesn't open until the 4th Saturday in June. So there's no pressure on the bass until that point. And typically they're just coming off, they're just post spawn. So they're all coming up, they got their feed bags on, they're ready to eat. And they're, for the most part, what we call, they're pretty in shallow and close, and they're grouped up. Where you find them, you're going to find a bunch of them. They're going to be around. They're all in on this. St. Clair. Everybody used to make the analogy that Lake St. Clair is a bowl. I wouldn't even call it a bowl. I call it a dinner plate with a crack down the middle where the shipping channel is. So for most guys out there, it's a fairly shallow lake. You're going to be fishing anywhere probably from that 6 to maybe 15 feet type thing. The bite, we'll go over what we'll recommend on baits and everything else, but for the most part, it's a lot of finesse. I think about that time of year, and you're gonna catch probably your personal best smallmouth. Probably there's going to be a number of muskies on bycatch out there. That's typically on every tournament that we've held on Lake St. Clair in that time of year. So there's always a couple of muskies that get caught.
I'd like to add that so I ran the Border City Classic in 2011, 2018, and it was always, we ran it on the opener. So there was no pre-fishing. And the biggest thing I explained to people was, you don't need to pre-fish this lake. We'll tell you how to go out and fish it. It's pretty much, you just go out, you use your side imaging, look for structure, rocks, and a little bit of vegetation. And we've had people win our event that had never been on Lake St. Clair. So home field advantage is not a case here.
Now it's pretty good. Now tell us, a lot of waterways you go, you have various different species. I assume drum will be one of the species that a lot of people are going to catch. What else we got going on there?
Walleye, drum, perch.
Yeah.
There is largemouth, but on our side of the lake, the largemouth don't get very big. I mean, on the U.S. side, you might get a little bit bigger largemouth, and then on the east end is bigger. But the structure by where this event will be held, it's going to be mainly smallmouth.
Yeah. No, I'm looking forward. There's a couple questions there. Are we going to have a multi-species thing? We'll have to think about that. We'll see what we do, and then you'll have to wait to see what the rules are and where we go. I do know we are not having Xander. We're never going to have Xander ever again. I don't think Xander exists. And I only say that for people who haven't been there. Every time we go to Europe, we always have Xander on the card, and no one ever catches it. So
well, walleye are Xander. So, but
yeah.
You won't be catching.
Big.
Yeah, you're not as big. Definitely not.
That sounds good. As I said before, after this, we're going to put up a landing page for the event site and a closing video. But the best thing I like about this is, you guys have pushed really extremely hard of having an event up there. And I'm excited that it is in Canada. The other thing I'm pretty excited about is now Canada is now nominated for one of the permanent fixtures in the Hobie Fishing World Series. And we're really taking the approach that a lot of other sports do, whether it be football sports or motorsports, is trying to have an area. So we have Amal Sweden, the crew down there, Jenny and all the ones at the Amal Council and Andy and everybody at Sports Fishing Dasland. Amal was on board. Australia will be permanently in that rotation, and now Canada. And it's typically going to be every 3 years. And that way we cycle through the anglers so that you have new, fresh anglers approaching it. But on the tournament side, the event side, it makes it really, really simple, and it compresses things down from a workload load point of view. The other thing I'm really good about is that in the past, for all the Hobie Fishing Worlds, Canada kind of has been tagged on to Team USA, and they kind of do their own thing. And I'll have to say, I've been working with John Dean at OKBT quite a bit, and he has a very good structure going as far as the tournament series. They're going to do some Angler of the Years. They'll have some nominated series to qualify. So Canada now and Canadian anglers are going to have their own series like the rest of the world. And I think that's really going to progress fishing. I mean, you guys have some amazing waterways up there. The other thing, too, is just across the border, there's a number of lakes that I know AJ's been looking at, and we can then, as we grow Canada, we're also going to then grow that top end of the United States in tournament fishing. And I think it's just the less travel for people. It introduces new people to us and vice versa to understanding and being a part of the Hobie Bass Open Series and see what we have to offer in this way. In closing, just Tim, I'll start with you. You pushed pretty hard on this, and we had to get the timing right. And we had to get the support of Hobie. I mean, we've come out of COVID, and we've got a lot of changes, but we're all inside here. As a Canadian angler and have been to fishing these worlds before, it's got to be one of the special ones to know that you're permanently on the fixture for all the Hobie Fishing Worlds going forward.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I look forward to showcasing my home lake, my hometown, my country on to the rest of the world. I can remember back in 2016, sitting in a bar at Moran's and Hobie Fishing Worlds, having a chat with you, pitching this to you back then. And this is something that, as you know, that I've harped on you for a number of years to try to get it here, and to finally get this event here and to be able to showcase my country, my hometown, and my home lake. It's amazing. It's an amazing feeling.
It's quite good. I'm sure Andy and the same crew, and likewise when I was down in Australia, it was very special to be able to have people from around the world come on a return base as well. Richard, you've been pushing pretty hard for a long time too, but we've got a new country. This is exciting. We want to get at least 3 more countries, and we're probably going to go Asian next, and a couple options there. But trying to have a steady routine to run through from a logistics point of view, but also as we've done in all fishing worlds, it's a different culture. Everywhere we've gone, we've celebrated, and after visiting up there 3 or 4 times, it's an amazing place. I've never been to Canada, and it's just there's some very unique things that we have. And the anglers, not only are they just going to have an absolute ball understanding these small little hand grenades, as I call them, as smallies, they're just going to go mental at bass, number one, freshwater. But smallies in particular are just pleasure to catch. And at that time of the year, I don't think there'll be anyone who won't. As a matter of fact, there'll be no one who doesn't catch fish. That's good. So Richard, back in on the calendar with you guys in Canada.
Yeah, we I still remember also, as Tim said, Steve, I think it was the first time even though I was in Australia, I don't think you remember me being there, but I had the opportunity that you came into the bar. I don't know if you had a rough day or something, and there was only 2 or 3 of us, and I think we sat and had a drink together. I think Tim was there, and that's when we all first pitched the Lake St. Clair to you.
Yeah, no, it's a special time, and I'm just glad we're back on the charts, back on the roll again, and now we can play catch up with the various different series around the world, and then look to grow other series in the Middle East, obviously in Singapore, South Korea, Japan on board. So this is that stepping stone in this history. And now for us to, bring this to fruition back in 2011, to be here on with you guys tonight, talking about, 10 years of Hobie Fishing World. And it's a pretty special moment for me, but there's such enjoyment of seeing the level of competition. I mean, Amal was amazing finish to do it. It was a very, very tough fought, contested one. So I'm looking forward to it. I don't have much other to say other than we'll try to, for those anglers that are out there that maybe have forgotten if they've qualified or not, we'll be getting that information out very soon. We will have an official hotel that's easy and convenient for everybody, and shuttle buses and things like that. We'll talk about some ride sharing or possible shuttles, but to start planning those dates now, and that's the 25th of June to July 1st. Detroit is going to be your main airport. Toronto is the other option here. And for the North Americans, obviously, I think the majority of those people are going to probably drive. At least half of them will. It's not that big a deal. So I'm looking forward to going to Tecumseh and to Essex County, and also Windsor. They're side by side. Those are our 2 partners in this Hobie Fishing World's 10 and 11. And with that, we're going to take and end it with this. And thanks everyone for joining in tonight to make this announcement. And please spread the word. We're coming to Canada.